Now let's transition to our next session. So I have, and these are among my favorite books in my library. So there are two books of gratitude. Um, this nice colored one is called Sunrise Gratitude, if you can see that. And as you can see, I got it for cheap. And then this one is Moonlight Gratitude. They're two twin books. And what they are is that it has, each book has 365 different entries, one per day. And it's just one what's the word I'm looking for? Like not one paragraph, one like one section, one unit of writing per day. There's a better word for that. The word escapes me. But there's like one like writing piece like per day. And what I do is that, well, the name is on the title, right? Like, I read one book in the morning when I wake up, and then right before I go to bed, I read this black one. So I figured for our reflection session, I'll read both entries for today, which I haven't done, so it'll be new to me. So having said that, oh, wait a minute. Oh, that low hum, like, fan sound stopped. So that's interesting. I wonder what it was. Alright, so let's start with Sunrise Gratitude. I have these fancy bookmarks too. A sun bookmark. So the bookmark was on February 27th, which I guess was like the last time I read this book, so I'm slacking. Oh goodness. I really need some gratitude in me now. So today is June 20th. And here is June 20th's entry. For fruit to grow, the soil needs to be fertile and water plentiful. During the growth and ripening season, we pull weeds that hinder growth. Roots grow deeper as the plant grows to support the weight of the fruit. In our own lives, we can also pull weeds to allow beautiful things to ripen. Unless growth is the focal point, we can easily become sidetracked by things that keep us from reaching our potential. By staying focused, we become more grounded in our purpose. Alright, so nice little paragraph there. Let me just reread this and let it like I guess let it grow in my mind, right? Since we're into growing metaphors right now. And of course you guys can like rewind this video and rehear what I said yourself too, so yeah. Okay, so my interpretation of this this passage That's the word I'm trying to think of earlier. So this passage, right? The main gist of it is to like kind of like let go of like the things that are like holding you back in life. You know, like those things are like weeds that you need to like pull out of the garden, so to speak. So you're pulling the negativity out of your garden, which represents your life pretty much. And as you pull the weeds out, then there's more room, there's more soil for you to like grow. And not only that, but like as you pull like the weeds out, like pull the negativity out of your life, um, that leaves room for your roots to like go deeper into the soil because there's no weeds taking up the place. So that means that if you pull negativity out of the ground, then there's more space for you to like become grounded. So the less negativity, the more grounded you can become. And I feel like that's relevant in my life. Honestly, like that's what I'm like attempting to do, like with this like fundraiser idea for the excuse me, for this fundraiser example. That's what I'm trying to do with this fundraiser for example. There you go. I'm always mincing my words up. But yeah, like I recognize that like my current job, like the job I'm trying to leave, like it's holding me back in life. Um it's no longer serving me. It's like a weed that I need to like pull out of my life, and it's been doing that for like the longest time. And right now I feel like the my job is like sucking up all the nutrients out of my soil, so I can't grow anymore. So I need to like pull out the weeds of that employment so I can like grow and have space for like new things in life, like the trucking job that I'm pre-hired at, but I need to like still attend training. So I know I'm always tying back to the fundraiser, but it's really important to me, you guys. So you're going to be hearing a lot about it. So like I said, I need your guys' help with that. Making that into a reality. So please consider donating to the cause. But yeah, that's what this passage like means to me, and that's how like it's relevant to me. I would love to hear like how this passage is relevant in you guys' life. Did I say that right? I would love to hear how this passage is relevant in your guys' life. I think that sounds right. Grammar was not my strong suit, I guess. But but yeah, if you couldn't already tell, like this passage really resonates with me. It's not just my job too, like there's like other things that I need to like pull out of my life. Honestly, like I would love to leave like leave my current city and just like move somewhere else. Like it's almost like changing soil, like I'm moving my plant out of this soil, Connecticut, and I'm putting it into a new pot of soil, which is like another state, for example, maybe California, or I was going to say Florida, but I think that soil's toxic to some people like me. So there's other places I can plant my plant my plant in, and that gives me like something to think about too. You know what? I'll note that, and I'll save that for like a future session where like we're envisioning like our future. I can envision like what place I would like to stay in. My next home. I think that'll be a nice prompt to like envision. All right, so we woke up, we read this nice, lovely passage, but I am so sorry that sounded fake. I mean, that didn't need to sound that fake. I am really tired, but I can't summon up a yawn. So, you guys have to settle for that fake yawn as a transition to our next book. So, here is Moonlight Gratitude. Look at this lovely bookmark. It's the moon. Um, One big thing about me, my and this is funny too. Like in the prior like session, I mentioned that like my favorite colors are both like purple and blue together. Not mixed together, just like the color combination like together into like a pattern or something like that, or them like kind of like juxtaposed like next to each other. You know, like I think like those two colors like together makes an interesting whole, if that makes sense. Well, anyway, my favorite, I guess you can call it like my favorite iconography is the sun and the moon. Again, it's like two ideas like together, you know, because I think like, I just think that ideas are like good in like sets, you know, like one idea is okay by itself, but two or more ideas like together, like that's where like creativity happens, if that makes sense. I mean, I think it makes sense to me, but then again, I'm crazy, right? But I'm a little cuckoo, but yeah. So the sun and the moon are like my favorite images, my favorite icons. I just love like I just love the image of like a burning hot warm sun mixed in with like a cool like a cool like blue or black or purple like moon image. It's calming, like it's both invigorating and calming too at the same time. And I like that, you know, that mixture there. Opposites, you know, opposites attract. But anyway, that's what drew me to like these two books too, like the sun and the moon. So, and at the time that I bought these books, I needed a lot of gratitude in my life. So it was like the perfect serendipity. All right, so we are at June 20th, you guys. And here is the passage. When we look back on our lives, we will not remember the little things that vex us. We will laugh at how preoccupied we were with such inconsequential issues. Why let them take up our time now? Tonight, think about which problems you might be giving more power than they deserve. Cast those tiny worries from your mind and sleep soundly without them. Nice short passage. Let me take a few beats to like reread this passage and let it like soak in my mind. And y'all can do the same, of course. Yeah, so I get what this passage is saying. I'm not sure in my case that I agree with it. So what it's saying is that, throughout the day, we may have like little annoyances that kind of like nag at you. And um, today, those little annoyances may seem, well, annoying, but tomorrow, a week later, a month later, you know, um, we'll forget about those little annoyances and we'll think about other things. Those annoyances won't matter in the grand scheme of our life. And, you know, I do get that. And I was going to say I can think of things that, I can think of things that, like, that has happened to me with. But then again, if I can think about them, then I haven't forgot about them. And are they small annoyances? I don't know. But the reason why I kind of hesitate to like agree with this is that I guess suffer from like ruminating thoughts a lot. So like those little annoyances, um, instead of like staying small, because I ruminate on them, like the rumination like gives them power, and it makes it more than a simple annoyance. Like it becomes like an aggravation or something bigger. So in a way, like um, my mind doesn't really give like those annoyances a chance to like fall away. Like it latches onto them, and then unfortunately, like I hold on to it. Um, I do want to say that like I've gotten better about that over the years. Like when I was younger, um, I used to hold on to things for like dear life, aggravation after aggravation. And now, like, I've gotten better at like letting things go, but I'm not perfect at all. Um, I think this bit of advice is really good for someone in my position, a transgender woman, because we're so like bombarded with like society's opinions about us, about people like me. We're so against like societal norms that like people can't help but to like notice us and have some kind of like opinion about us, either like a weak opinion or a very strong opinion. Like people in my position, like we tend to like, oh my god, excuse me, what was that? Oh my goodness, it was like a sharp pain in like my upper tooth area. That's weird. Ugh, that hurt. Geez, sorry about that, you guys. Um, but yeah, I was saying that like people in like my position, like transgender people, like we tend to like um, stir up like strong emotions in people, and you know, Christ, I forgot my train of thought. What was I saying? I'm trying to think. Well, I forgot like my direct train of thought, but I think my overall point was that like as a transgender person, like you know, we receive like feedback from yeah, okay, so that's my point. I was saying that like as a transgender person, like we receive like feedback from society that, you know, we're like we're like abnormal, you know, like we're not people, or because we're so like against like societal norms that like, you know, we deserve to be like picked at and criticized and looked down upon, this and that. So, and transgender people like kind of like, you know, take that on the chin and absorb that. So and to some transgender people, like that could be like an annoyance that like you can let fade away, but for other transgender people, that's not an annoyance. Like that's a severe like aggravation, and it's hard to like let that go because you know we're people. Like we have an innate sense of wanting like belonging. You know, we're social creatures. So any kind of like rejection or sign that like we're not being accepted into a group, um, we feel that, you know, like that's against our nature as humans, you know, so that's like emotional pain right there. So, you know, you know, that's like beyond like a simple annoyance, is what I'm trying to say. So we don't have like a chance to let that go. We can let it go, but we have to like work very hard to let it go. And that's very much like the case for me. I've gotten better at like turning. I call those like dysphoria moments where like, you know, society at large like others me. So I've gotten better at like keeping those like dysphoria moments at like an annoyance level and let them like fall away. But earlier in my transition, they were huge aggravations. Oh my goodness. That I could not let go because, you know, I'm like a new transgender woman. I'm trying to like, you know, get a feel for like um, being comfortable in like my in a gender that I resonate with now. You know, I'm trying to like be comfortable with that, and you know, any little bit of dysphoria like kind of ruins that. So it makes it harder for me to like resonate with womanhood and femininity. But now that I've been like, you know, doing this for like a couple years now, and I'm more comfortable in my skin, um, they're just annoyances, you know. I don't think I'll be 100% used to being othered and, um, experiencing dysphoria in that manner. Um, but it's not like a day ending event, if that makes sense. So So yeah, that's like my little life there. Um, so the next line is that we will laugh at how preoccupied we were with such inconsequential issues. Um, I don't know if I find myself laughing at my past issues. Um, I mean, I get what they're saying. You know, like let's say yesterday, you bought like a $1 ice cream cone and it drops out of your hand. You know, you're out $1. You know, that's like annoying. You know, yesterday, but today it's like, yeah, it's just $1. You know, I can buy like 10 more ice cream cones and call it a day. You know, so but I don't know, my experiences. I don't know about that. I've dealt with like ostracization, ostracization, um, bullying, that sort of thing. Um, Not inconsequential. I mean, they're like small in the grand scheme of things, but not inconsequential. No. Um, I should laugh at it because laughing at it is a sign that it has no power over me anymore. And to a certain extent, it doesn't have power over me, but not 100%. Maybe like 80, 90%, which I'll take. Trust me, it's better than 0%. I don't miss those days. I guess I could like half laugh at it. I guess, right? Not a full belly laugh, ha ha ha. Just like a little chuckle, like. All right, so the passage ends with asking you like, which present day problems might you be giving more power than they deserve? And that's an interesting question. Um, a question that I'll have to think about for a minute. Now, if you were to ask like other people, you know, what problems does Avanaya have that is like not that bad, but she's giving power to them? They would say my job. You know, like I'm giving power to like negativity at my job. They would have a point there, but I think that like I have like a lot of like baggage at my job too. That really that really makes it hard to like keep it inconsequential, you know? Excuse me. Just for context, like I've been at that job for like 20 years and um it's 20 years of doing like the same exact work for like I make okay pay, but um not enough to like live comfortably, if that makes sense. And only because, you know, inflation is like out of control at this point, you know? It used to be comfortable, now it's like, I can barely buy a carton of eggs. But yeah, like besides like all the transgender difficulties, like I don't feel like really fulfilled by that job, and I feel like intellectually, like I'm dying like a slow death there too. And if I were happier and like enjoyed the job, then I think that like my transgender difficulties will be like easier to stomach because I can draw on like the joy of the job itself to like kind of weather like the bad stuff. But I don't have that joy there at all. Like I'm pretty much like past done with that job, so that makes my difficulties there, my transgender difficulties, like way harder to like overcome and stomach. And let me just make it clear, like I shouldn't be having those difficulties. Period. Like like I shouldn't be like dealing with being othered and taught that behind my back and called names, this and that. You know what I mean? But if I had to deal with it, let me at least be happy at the job, and get some kind of like benefit from it. But I don't, so it's like a double whammy almost, and it makes like working there like really intolerable to me, to the point where like my mental health got like really low, and um, not to make things too dark or anything like that, but I'll just let you like fill in the blanks. Um, so yeah, like that's like another reason why there's like a desperation to like for me to like leave my job for like something more fulfilling. And being a truck driver, I feel it's like it checks like a lot of boxes for me. There's like the reduced like social element, um, the isolation where like I don't have to deal with like people and politics, and I'll have the space to like be myself in peace. There's that aspect to it, but um, I really like driving. Um, I really like road trips. I like traveling, so I like going to new places and experiencing new environments. So being like a national truck driver sounds stupidly exciting to me. After working at the same job in the same city for like 20 years, I am dying, gasping for a change. So, and truck driving like checks that box. Um, I'm trying to think of a quote like, something is the spice of life. I don't know the exact quote, but in my position, novelty is the spice of life. And that's what I'm trying to like get myself into. Like it's a novel experience, and it will keep being a novel experience for a while as I like travel to different places. So I'm very much looking forward to that with your help. But yeah, um so yeah, like that's a problem that like people may think that I'm giving too much power to. I disagree with that. Let me think of like an actual problem that like is inconsequential, but I may be giving like power to. Um, I'm trying to think. Hmm. problems. Honestly, I can't think of like any problems because the problems I do have, like, they're very much consequential. So, um, and they take up so much of like my mind space. So, I'm pretty sure there's like inconsequential um, inconsequential problems in my life, but they're so inconsequential that they're not coming to mind right now. Ironically. So, I'll come back to this. I'll come back to this question. Maybe I can answer it in a future session if I remember. But yeah. Yep. So that's our reflection for tonight. Alexa, what time is it?
It's 12:27 a.m.
So the time is 12:27 a.m. So let me just quickly do some like temporal math. So I spent 20 minutes doing the sensory anchoring. Excuse me. And then from 11:51 to, I think the time said 12:21, right? Alexa, what time is it again?
It's 12:28 a.m.
Oh, 12:28. So that is 37 minutes, I think. Yeah, 37. Yeah, 37 minutes. All right, so my goodness, I'm so tired. I can't do math in my head. My God. And it's 12:30 at night, but Jesus. So yes, I think I fulfilled. I'm reasonably sure that I fulfilled the 60-minute goal of doing resilience minutes. So I did 20 minutes of, well, 20 combined minutes of resets. 20 minutes of sensory anchoring, so that's 40 minutes. And then 37 minutes of 37 minutes of reflection time. So 40 plus 37, that is 77. So that's an hour and 17 minutes. Works for me. I'll take that. Too bad I can't like roll the time over. So like tomorrow I start out with like 17 minutes. And I only have to do whatever 60 minus 17 is. I think it's 43, I think. But anyway, I should get going and go to bed before I embarrass myself even further not being able to do simple math. But thank you for, my goodness, like thank you for like watching me and listening to me for like over an hour in this session. Y'all have a great night, and I will see y'all tomorrow.